I'm Amanda Brilhanty, and here's an update on some stories making news right now. Victims of the building collapse in Surfside, Florida have reached a tentative $83 million settlement in their punitive class action suit against multiple groups involved with the property. The catastrophic structural failure took the lives of 98 people and led to the demolition of the entire building. Meanwhile, Twitter is launching a new privacy-protected version of its social media platform. This is aimed at bypassing surveillance and censorship from the Russian government. Users can access this version using the Tor browser, which is a web tool mostly used to access sites on the dark web. A lead developer on the project says this new version will provide greater privacy and unblockability to users around the world. And former President Trump is announcing the construction of a new private plane. Now, this just a few days after the one flying him back from a donor retreat suffered an engine failure. In a fundraising email to supporters, the former president says his team is building a brand new version of Trump Force One and that he can't wait to unveil the finished product. Those are some of the stories we're following right now. For breaking news, go to newsmax.com. Emma?
Amanda, thank you. The cost of energy is on the minds of many Americans who have filled up their gas tanks recently. Here to discuss, Pennsylvania Congressman, member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, Joyce. Congressman, welcome. Thanks for coming on. You know, I know Americans, good to see you too. Americans would like maybe some clarity on why these high prices are happening right now, perhaps even wondering what the Energy Secretary has to say. Here's Jennifer Granholm on that. Take a listen.
We know, you know. We have got to still reckon with the impact of climate change. That clean energy transition is not just coming, it is here.
That's a strong statement there. Congressman, are we prepared for this?
Let's address what the two major factors are that have caused this unprecedented rise in energy costs. Number one, Vladimir Putin's unprovoked attack on the Ukrainian people. And number two, President Biden's refusal to commit to American energy dominance. It's time to flip the switch back on for American energy. For natural gas, oil, coal, the prices that have escalated out of control are only because we're not utilizing those great resources that are under the feet of the American citizens, actually under the feet of my constituents. To help that, I co-sponsored the American Energy Independence from Russia Act. This legislation would create a plan to allow American energy dominance over Russia, to ensure that the Keystone XL pipeline was reopened, to allow permitting of ability to open those wells and those oil fields to provide those necessary resources that we need right now, not to be importing 10% of our oil from Russia. And what can we do with those energy sources? We can supply those worldwide. We can first and most importantly, supply them to Americans.
Sure.
But we can take those resources and supply them to our friends, to our NATO allies, and sever their dependence on Russia.
You talk about job creation, even with the idea of doing it domestically here. I played that soundbite from Granholm, again, pushing for green energy. Which is optimistic outlook. At the same time, though, asking for oil and gas companies to raise output. Here's this headline from CNBC. But oil bosses say the White House is essentially holding back drilling with unfriendly policies. We know Jen Psaki has pointed out those available drilling permits. I'll ask you, Congressman, why do you think there is such hesitation?
Because of the overemphasis on the Green New Deal. Even Elon Musk has said it's time to resume the energy independence, the energy dominance that we had here in America and start drilling again. We need to have the capability of providing the oil that is right here in America. And as you pointed out, reinvigorate those American jobs that would produce that. Green New Deal is a failure to America. We need to utilize the resources that are right under our feet.
Congressman, before we let you go, I did want to ask you one last thing. This is a different topic here, but there's a cancel culture movement to remove some conservative networks like Newsmax from cable lineups. Does it concern you that Atlantic Broadband, now called BreezeLine, which services customers in districts of your own in Pennsylvania, dropped Newsmax from its cable lineup, despite the fact we're the fourth-rated, highest-watched cable news channel in the country?
I think it's important that everyone has the capability of First Amendment rights. that conservatives have that same capability to get their message out there. I, as a conservative, want to be able to talk to my constituents and relay the important issues, to be able to communicate with them. That has to occur on all platforms.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, taking the time and having these conversations. Congressman John Joyce joining us live. Congressman, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we would like to hear from you, our Newsmax viewers. You can cast your vote. We'd like to get your thoughts on whether you think the U.S. should back a no-fly zone, if you support that. Also, let us know what you think about President Biden's handling of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. You can text input to 39747. The number is on your screen.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.